sell you 200 pounds. We don't really do anything less than that.
Yeah, it's just a big chunk of change.
Well, maybe you're in the wrong business then.
No, I don't think that's the case. Look, I want to talk to your guy.
My guy?
The big guy, the guy you collect for.
Look, Vince, you don't want to mess with these dudes.
Yeah, I don't see many more options.
And you're here to borrow some money, yeah?
Yeah. Maybe we can go talk about this in private.
You're amongst friends here.
There's nothing left to prove.
Oh, no worries, man. No worries. We're here now. So thanks for joining me today. Talk about your film, The Last Deal.
Appreciate it. Likewise.
Excellent film, man. I loved it. And
Thank you.
it was really well done. So congratulations.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
And it said at the beginning of the film, it's based on a true story. How long ago did this happen and how did you discover this story?
So it's based on two different facts that make it a true story. So there's the whole legal aspect of what happened. And then one of my good friends, he is essentially the Vince character. So he started as a grower and he ended up getting a dispensary. And then once legalization happened, the bottom dropped out and his sales and revenue went down and he ended up messing around with the wrong people. There wasn't anything to the extent of this film with people dying and stuff like that, but that part's a little exaggerated. But the whole getting into trouble and all of that sort is all true. So
yeah, because this is all centered around the green rush, which was the legalization, and it changed everything. Proposition 64 in California, but it's an interesting story that this is based on someone who was legit, but he had to. Vince was a really interesting character because he's not a criminal, but when his back was against the wall, he had to make those tough choices.
Absolutely, yeah, which is nice. You have sort of a everyday man anti-hero he's not a criminal according to some aspects, but he is bending the law. So yeah, it creates a good little character of someone that's doing maybe some things that may be wrong, but you want to root for him.
Right. And, it could be real easy for you as a filmmaker, as a writer and director, to make him an action hero, to make it real corny and all that. But you kept him grounded through the whole film, which I thought was interesting. I'm waiting for him to turn into a badass. He didn't. He was vulnerable. He was a family man. He was it was really to see that an ordinary man was put in this position.
Oh, that's good. No, I appreciate that. Like that just came off of like the 70s, John Cassavetes type of characters and like the 1940s, like Robert Mitchum and noir characters who are everyday men that find themselves over their heads. And
it's funny because I had friends who are trimmers up in Humboldt.
Oh, nice.
They would go up there for 2 or 3 weeks, and come back with garbage bags full of weed, and it's amazing. So I thought, wow, I know about that firsthand. And also, it had to be, look behind me, that had to be real grow houses that you shot in. How in the world did you manage that?
Yeah, so that picture behind you, that whole entire crop was harvested within 24 to 48 hours after we left that shoot. So what ends up happening is one of the fun things, and I'll get to your question in a sec, one of the fun things about the movie was we show the different stages of marijuana. We don't tell you it, but if you look at each time we show you the plants, like they're in different stages. And this is the tail end. So at the very tail end, when they're harvesting the plant, they dehydrate the plant. They don't have it, they don't give it water for a week or two. And that causes the leaves to wilt and they're not a vibrant green. And this was right before a harvest. But to get those locations, I had I have a good buddy, Mike Macaluso. He has his own cannabis brand called Living Legends. And he knows a lot of these growers because he uses the either hemp or marijuana in his products. So he introduced me to some of the guys, and then Jolly Farms, which is what's behind you.
Right, because I saw him wearing the shirts and that, and I thought, that's got to be a real place, right? Plug the farms for him, right?
Real place. We shot there in exchange for them to wear the t-shirts.
Product placement.
Exactly. And it works out well because I wanted to make it like he's going to a farm. And so the t-shirts, although it was the only product placement we have in the film, like organically fit in that way. and we got a location that would normally cost tens of thousands of dollars.
Oh yeah. And when you see the news, when they bust these illegal grow houses in neighborhoods, they say the smell is overwhelming. So when you shot in there, was it just that potent in there?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
especially here, because when you're at this stage, you smell the bud because it's now getting dried out.
Right.
When you're there when they're first growing, it doesn't have as much of the smell. It could almost be fruity, but there's no doubt the moment you open the door, you're not in a cucumber farm.
You have to stay in there limited time, I'm sure, because they wear masks in there too, don't they? Because
They do, yeah. Depending on which room, they do wear masks. Yeah.
and, you know, I love how this is an LA story too, because LA is a character in the movie too. I mean, I love seeing all the locations. I'm like, you know, because being in Las Vegas my whole life, visit California, you know, LA is like a second home. And it was so cool to see, you know, it was almost like an old, like you said, an old 70s TV show to see, you know, Jim Rockford, you know, driving around everywhere, you know, in LA.
Exactly. Yeah, you know, I've been here 20 years, so I wanted to show the gritty, dirty LA that you don't normally see. Like the LA River has actual islands of trees in the middle of the river. And no one knows that that doesn't live here. Like you think of Terminator 2 when they're going through the dried cement riverbeds and stuff like that. But no one knows about that. So that I really tried to incorporate in LA that not everyone sees.
And I love how some of the shortcuts you took, but they still work. Like, you know, putting a body in the water, you don't actually see it go in, but it's implied.
Yes.
I thought that was really brilliant. And also gunshots, when people are getting shot and stuff, they're not these elaborate squids or anything, but it works. I mean, I love how you do like filmmaking 101 tricks in there. It really complements it.
That's great. Thank you. Yeah, you know, it's using practical means. So not to give too much away, but one of the gore ones that you saw, like that was a mix of practical and VFX. Yep.
The Colombian necktie scene, I call it. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then the one of the gunshot ones that you're referring to where the guy gets shot, that was all practical. So it was just I think the VFX, the special effects guy used squished banana. You combine it with blood and it makes that effect.
Too cool. I think my favorite character in the movie though is the boss. I thought he was awesome. You know, I thought he was Sala, is that his name? Or
Sala Baker, correct.
Yeah, he was fantastic, man. He was really good. I hope we see more of him in movies. He's a good villain.
Absolutely. Yeah. He comes from he's from New Zealand, and his start came from Lord of the Rings. So he played Sauron in Lord of the Rings, and then he's been in a bunch of stuff since then. He's a working stuntman, always traveling, always working. And you know, Anthony too is a stuntman. A lot of these actors that are the thing about stuntmen nowadays, that they're not the stuntmen from the 70s. You know, the stuntmen nowadays, they're acting more. So they have the chops to act. Not the ones in the past never did, but they were maybe never given the opportunity. And so we use these stunt guys that log all these hours in front of the camera with some of the biggest directors. Like Anthony's worked with Clint Eastwood and James Mangold, and
is that the assistant? He played the assistant.
Anthony is the lead. So Anthony's
right. Anthony, that's right. Anthony's the lead, but the guy who played the assistant, I thought it was
Mike Ferguson.
Yeah, I thought he was Bosch at a few times. You know, that character.
Yeah, right.
I was like, boy, wow, you scored a big actor in this.
Yeah. No, Mike Ferguson works a lot. Like
right.
He's in a lot of movies. You look him up, I think he has like more credits than Eric Roberts.
And it's funny because the character of the boss, I think you've written the only drug kingpin that takes out his own trash. So I thought that was funny.
Yes. That's a good observation. I did that because I was hoping, I don't know if it played in the movie, but he knew who was outside his house.
Right.
So he just comes out there just to do that because he looks in that direction. I don't know if that ever read.
I thought it was funny, you know, because I knew that guy was going to get caught. It was too, you know, this guy's too smart to have you not notice a car down the street from his place, right? He's always
right.
looking. So I thought, well, here he comes. I go, is he really bringing his trash? I thought it was funny. I thought it was kind of cool. You know, and also the film looks so good, man. I love all the different colors when you meet with the Armenians and even in the grow houses. You work with a lot of colors in this, which I thought really gave it a film noir kind of Sam Spade feel to it.
Thank you, appreciate that. And I hope, like, I enjoyed that color palette so much that I hope on the next one I can do it even more. It was definitely fun, and we went into the film with that model. Dominic Lopez has shot it, and really doing it in all the warm tones, like the warm tones behind you, which are very natural because of the grow room, and just playing with the tones throughout the entire piece.
I should have said neo-noir because film noir is black and white, but I meant
Correct. I knew exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Oh man, The Last Deal, Jonathan, congratulations, man. I had a great time with it, and I wish
Thank
you
you.
best of luck. And come visit us in Las Vegas soon, man. We'd love to have you.
I appreciate it.